really like this series, but I will keep reading it. What does that mean? I can't with the emotions. I'm just gonna do a really quick check-in because I haven't read a ton more than I did at the end of the last vlog, but I have officially gotten to book 2 in Memories of Ice, and it's awesome. I love the humor in this book. I love that it's not just crazy, outlandish, wild, intense, amazing, and also devastating stuff going on, but it's also hilarious. There's this army of undead that is they're some of my favorite. The leader of this art is one of my favorite characters, and it's just the dry delivery with that humor. We also have these really complex emotions that are going on, like this character who is willing to she is a mother figure to a very important child in the series, and you know, she has this devotion and this love for her, and she's willing to give so much to her, but like she also can't deny the struggle of what it's taking from her to be so devoted to this child and what the circumstances are of the situation they're in. Wow, this book really just needs to be spoken about in spoilers, doesn't it? We will. I haven't gotten much farther, so there's just no point in it yet, but by the end of the vlog, when I've gotten a little bit farther, we will. But the complex emotions that these characters are experiencing, that it's not just, I am a servant that is devoted to my cause, if I die, I die. No, it's like, I am devoted to this and to her, but also, maybe I don't want to die. And gosh, there's just so much going on, and around every corner, every plot line, and how they're connecting, and everything that they have to go through, that they're having to deal with, is just so well written. I love it. I did read Come Tumbling Down, which is part of the Wayward Children series. I don't really like this series, but I will keep reading it. I don't know if this is book like 4 or 5 or 9. I really don't know where I am in the series, but it is a series of novellas. It's hidden doorways, and these kids, they have all just been living normal lives, and then they find a secret doorway, Narnia-esque, and then they go into their worlds, whether it's a world of nonsense or a world of logic, and that's their home. That's where they belong. That's where they feel like they fit. But for one reason or another, all these kids ended up coming out of these doorways and ended up back in the real world where they absolutely don't fit. And so it's a series of novellas that are all their companions, so it really doesn't matter what order you read them in, according to the author, but they're all connected, and it's these kids' individual stories of being back in the real world, finding their way back into their worlds, or at least trying to do so, their storylines connecting to each other, helping each other, and things like that. And I don't necessarily like the series so much. It's just not doing it for me. Yet I love the doorways. I love the worlds. I read these little novellas just to see what world we're gonna touch next, because I think that the world building in this story, the different worlds that Seanan McGuire creates, phenomenal. Anyway, that is my quick update early on in the week. I just thought I would check in real quick. So welcome to the vlog. Oh wow, the memory card's in here for once. That's amazing! Who would have thought this could happen? Started a new book. It's called Beneath the Dragon Eye Moons. I started it because a couple of my friends over on my Patreon love this book and have been really wanting me to read it for a while. So I finally started it, and I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it yet. I am enjoying it, and I expected to just read it very slowly because I'm still reading Malazan, but I'm actually getting through it pretty well. So I'm on chapter 9, which is 55 pages in, so I guess I just patted myself on the back too much. But anyway, this book starts out with our main character who has died, and she's hanging out with a being that's resurrecting her. And this being tells her, you have two choices. You can come back with someone with a fracture of your memories, so you'll have a piece of yourself, but you won't have all of yourself, and you'll never be able to get all of yourself again. Or you can come back with no piece of yourself, completely fresh slate, you won't have any memories of your old life at all. And I loved that introduction because it got me thinking, if I were in this situation, what would I choose? And my answer was I would choose to start completely over. I love my life. I'm very happy with who I am. I'm very comfortable with my current situation. But returning to a new life or coming to a new life with only a piece of yourself and you'll never be able to get your full self back, there's a lot of implications there. And now that I've read further, I have a better grasp of what that looks like. But in the moment, you don't know what that's gonna look like. Is that gonna be like a tortured life? Are you gonna forever just be wanting and looking for a piece of yourself that you'll never find? What does that mean? I would choose to be a blank slate. Even though I like who I am and I'm happy to live as myself, but if I'm a blank slate, then I don't get to be tortured by the decision I've made because I won't remember it. So that's what I choose. Anyway, she's an 8-year-old in chapter 2, and the story goes on with her being 8, and basically what's happened in the beginning chapters is an establishing of who she is as a person, her family dynamics a little bit, and the magic system, because she's going into the point of her life where she gets to learn about the magic of this world and decide how she wants to specialize. And so we're basically just getting a really big info dump on what the magic of this world is like, which I don't like because I can't really get attached to a story that isn't much of a story, that's mostly just information. But I am interested in the magic. This is the magic on the back. That's kind of a map of it, so it has elements, and it also has, like, you would choose, like, for instance, if you were a blacksmith, then you would likely choose to specialize in fire because that would help you with your blacksmithing, but you could also choose to be able to work metals, and like there's a lot of different small minute things to consider. There's also, you could be more powerful, or you could be physically weak but have more magical abilities. Like there's a lot going on, and I'm taking in some of it, but honestly, just like a big old info dump before I'm really invested in anything, it's not a good way to help me to retain things. So I'm interested in what's going on, but still kind of on the fence. I don't love the writing, if I can be really blunt with you. I think kids are hard to do well because you can either make them really interesting and cute and adorable and you love them, or you can make them like really annoying. And I think when I'm watching her interact with other people, I like her, but then when I'm in her head and she just rambles and rambles and rambles and rambles and rambles, I don't like her so much. Speaking of cute kids, that's just my initial thoughts on the first few chapters of this. Speaking of kids, now let's talk about Spy Family, because this is a kid done so well. So again, this is going to be spoilers because I'm on volume 5, or I just finished volume 5. And did I just finish this one? Hang on. Where am I? Oh no, I'm on volume 6. Hang on. Okay, so I read volume 5 and I started volume 6 and I'm half done with it. This is where I am. Boom. Oh no! So, timestamps in the description if you want to skip over these spoilers, because they are spoilers. So we've been introduced to this new character, and I actually really like this one because it's not like I don't know. I like her because she's a fresh face, and I really like, I think that she's interesting. Her personality's interesting, the way that she was trained up by Lloyd and is just infatuated by him, but he just doesn't see it at all. The whole tennis match thing about like the nothing is off limits, we're gonna shoot you with a freaking sniper rifle with rubber bullets and like nobody will notice, and we're gonna dance around the arena and there's gonna be gas pouring in from the vent. I mean, it was wild. It was a wild time, and it was a big difference from what we normally see. And while I find that refreshing because the series is very, like I've said before, there's a lot of like reusing the same jokes but in different ways, which I'm never mad about, because this series catches that sweet, wholesome, adorable vibe and the adorable, awkward family dynamics of these people who are so good at very specific things, but as far as being a family, they just don't know what they're doing, but they're trying their best, and it's just too cute. Plus Anya herself is just the cutest little kid character I've ever read. But it is nice when we do something really different like we did for these last several chapters with Lloyd and Nightfall. So, or Twilight and Nightfall. So I enjoyed that little sidetrack, but it looks like we're done with that. And then we'll probably get back to family dynamics, which I'm ready to get back to family dynamics. So yeah, I'm enjoying myself. I mean, the series, like, I don't get tired of it. I'm loving it. So that is that. I've also been reading Hunter x Hunter, which I'll update you about Malazan and Hunter x Hunter together tomorrow. It might be way too dark here, but if I move to the sun, then it's way too bright. So this is what we've got, because my kids are playing inside, and you won't be able to hear me in there. You may not be able to hear me out here, because sometimes the wind blows. Okay, Memories of Ice. I want to talk to you about this in spoilers now, because there's a couple of scenes that have just really hit me hard. I'm on chapter 10 now, if you are interested in knowing where that is. I mean, so much happens in this book, or in these books. I don't really know if me just giving you a chapter number is going to tell you anything, but I'm 306 pages into the mass market paperback, so, you know, chugging along, I'm doing all right. I want to talk to you specifically, this is spoilers, there's timestamps in the description, but the thing that I talked to you about before in the first clip that I didn't want to spoil in that clip, oh gosh, it's this scene between the Maybe and, I don't know, whoever she's talking to, Crone. "And so you would die now," Crone said. "Yes, I understand. A mother must not be led to hate the child she has birthed. Yet you demand too much of yourself. She has stolen my life," the Maybe screamed, gnarled hands closing to fist, from which the blood within them fled. The Ravi woman stared at those fists, eyes wide, as if they were seeing a stranger's hands, skeletal and dead. "Oh, Crone," she said softly, "she has stolen my life." She goes on to ask, why don't you talk to her about it? And she knows, Crone, she knows. What would you have me do? Ask my daughter to stop growing? This river flows unceasing. Unceasing. Rivers can be dammed. Rivers can be diverted. Not this one, Crone. Do you accept your words, my love? I do not accept your words, my love, and I shall find a way. This, I swear. This internal conflict that the Maybe is going through, this, I love my daughter. I don't want to hate her. I don't want to resent her. There's nothing she can do about this, and there's nothing I can do about it. I have to be what I am to her, but I still suffer. I still hurt. I have feelings that I don't want to have about it. I think that Erikson's prose is gorgeous. The way he writes this emotion in not just a really blunt way, but just in this beautiful way that's, I feel like he just connects to the souls of his characters and pours out what's deeply within them, and it's so beautiful, but so tragic. I said at the end of book 2 that I feel like the series is, I mean, I know it's grimdark, but it's such a tragedy, and I feel like the lines like that and scenes like that just really showcase what a tragedy this story is, that we're not meant to expect a happy ending from every character, because that's just not what this story is doing. And we're just going through the loss and the pain that some of them are suffering. Like, that's some of these characters' arcs. I'm very attached to Maybe right now, the Maybe, and I can't wait to follow her more. But then there's also these scenes that are written. I talked about the humor in the last clip. I'm just gonna really hone in on pain in this clip, because there's also this scene, the one where Lady Envy is trying to woo Talk, and she takes him into the temple where the priest, or the monk, where the monk is, and it's described, the compound is hot, the moist air is rife with the stench of decay, and as soon as the Malazan strode from the shadow of the gate, he saw the source of the smell. A score of bodies lined the inside walls, large iron hooks jutting from beneath their breastbones, feet dangling at arm's length above the ground. The stone at their backs was stained yellow and deep red. Eyeless heads hung downward, strands of hair dripping with rainwater, and it goes on. Even these horrifying scenes that Erikson does not pull away from, he zooms into, is still somehow told, like, his prose is still, it's haunting. It's haunting, and it packs the perfect punch of what we're seeing. It's like the terrors of this world that these characters are seeing, and the ways that they participate. Like, he does not, like I said, he doesn't pull away from it. He zooms in on it, and he wants to do some serious introspection on it. And it's just like, it's so hard to read sometimes, because it's so emotional and painful to read sometimes. And yet, I can't stop reading. I'm so enraptured by it. That's an update on Memories of Ice. Boom. Let's talk about Hunter x Hunter, which I am now at the point where I'm reading online, because the physical copies are just really, really hard to find with these more recent arcs. So I just have to, which is driving me nuts because I don't like it. Anyway, I finished the Chimera Ant arc. And remember when I was talking about suffering with Malazan? I'm suffering. I've suffered. This arc has had some of the best fight scenes I've ever read. Again, my experience with manga, I'm still fresh. I'm still a noob. But oh my goodness, spoilers, spoiler timestamps, Netaro and King, what even was that? I'm gonna watch the anime for that one, and I'm gonna watch the anime for Gon's transfer. Oh, what are we even gonna do? What are we even gonna do? Gon has lost the ability to use N. He's an adult now. What are we supposed to do? What is this series even gonna do now? Are we done following Gon? Is he not our protagonist anymore? Are we following a character that isn't able to use N? The next arc is we're gonna do some sort of battle royale or competition or something to find out who the next chairman is. Is Gon gonna try to do that with no N? Is the story now just Killua giving up his journey for self-discovery so that he can protect Gon, because now Gon can't protect himself? Is he gonna keep spiraling because he can't protect himself because he's so weak? Because that was something that came up earlier in the arc. The ending with King changing completely and being a human, not really, being so compassionate and caring about people, and accepting his death and dying next to Komogi, and I can't with the emotions. I don't know. I haven't gotten my notes together yet, so you just get the ravings of a lunatic. But Hunter x Hunter is not what I thought it would be, and I'm broken. I haven't finished most of them, plus Hunter x Hunter. Chat with me in the comments if you feel like it. I post videos on Thursdays, and pretty soon I'm gonna start posting on Tuesdays here as well. So, starting in July. Enjoy that. Bye.